So a couple weeks back, I showed my checklist for doing FT8 off on the stream, and a couple of you reached out and asked, hey, what exactly are you doing? So just breaking it down for you in this video and showing you what it is I do. Come along, check it out. This is what I do before the FT8 off. Take my notebook. I needed to add one more column now. I used to make only 2 columns. I need to, well, I suppose 3 columns. Now I need to make 4. And then I label them. All right. Band. Mode check. I'll explain that in a minute. ALC and SWR. What I found was that if I didn't do this, if my radio left the shack, which often on the weekends it does, because I go do Parks on the Air on the weekends. If I don't do this prior to FT8 off on Thursday, then I end up half of the FT8 off trying to figure out, is this in tune and is the ALC right? And now I need to add the mode because my radio, I'll show you here in a minute, has a mode change from digital upper sideband to regular upper sideband. And you know, obviously for Parks on the Air, I'm using US upper sideband on where I need to, and lower sideband where I need to. And if I don't change that mode, even though it may be an upper sideband, and JTDX is receiving the signal, it won't transmit. It gets 0 audio. So I'll go and make this chart here all the way down to 160 meters. And what I'll do is I'll verify that the radio on that band has the right mode, the ALC is set at the correct level, and the SWR is matching up, so I have a tune. And if I have a tune, I note it, right? If I'm using the tuner, I note with, you know, a checkbox and a T. And if I have no tuner in place for it because it's resonant, then I just put a checkbox. And that way I know when I'm switching bands, if I look at the radio, am I supposed to have a T there or not? Am I supposed to have the radio tuned or not? Let me take you to the radio for a minute while so I can show you what I mean. So this radio is a Yaesu FT991A, and you know, your mileage will vary, right? My other radio is a Kenwood TS440S, and my only options are lower sideband, upper sideband, CWAM, and FM. Right? Well, I suppose FSK is also an option. But if I'm an upper sideband, it doesn't matter whether I'm upper sideband data or not. It works upper sideband as long as my signal link is connected and rocking. Over here, though, if my mode, I'm transmitting right now, tried to get a Hawaii station on Parks on the Air, I'm missing that. I'll wait until this, oh, there we go. If I go to mode, right, you see that right now I have data USB. If I were on USB, my transmissions would equal 0 power. It would have a tune and everything else would be great, and the ALC would be showing great, but I would have 0 power going out of the radio because there wouldn't be any audio going into it. So that's my checklist. That's what I do. I go through and verify everything. And now I have to add the addition of the mode check. Because if I don't, then, you know, life is no good. Why? Again, another oddball. Why this shifted to 70 is beyond me, but okay, so now that I have my checklist done, let's move over to the first band that we're going to tune. I tune from the VHF side up. And you see that my radio's already in data upper sideband. And keep in mind that this mode, as far as I know, only applies here on this radio or this type of radio. I don't know. So I can check off the box for mode. I need to check one more. I added one more thing to my list, and that's the power. Last time I was at a park, I lowered the power so that my battery will last longer. So now I need to up the power. So power's up to 50, checkbox to power. Now let's run the tuner on this. I'm running the tune on JTDX, just generates a tone. And let's switch to SWR. SWR is acceptable. That's what my antenna is going to get anyways. So I'm happy with that. Let's switch over to ALC. And the ALC is acceptable for me on this, so I'm going to leave it exactly where it's at. Stop the tuner button. And I'm going to do this for all the bands. So here we go. The rest of this is just going to be sped up so you see what the process is, but I'm not going to dwell on this. The key takeaway during the sped up content is that I'm following my same checklist that I followed on the 2 meter side on every band that I might use during the FT8 off. I am making sure that my mode is correct, that my RF power is where I want it to be, that my standing wave is either acceptable or that the tuner has been run and engaged on the band so that I don't have to worry about that part during the FT8 off. And then lastly, that the ALC is in the right ballpark. And for me, I find somewhere between 1 and 3 is ideal. That adjustment is made with the power slider on the right-hand side of this software. I get it in the ballpark, and then I fine-tune it to wherever I need it to be during the FT8 off to make sure that I get the most out of my transmission. So there you go. That's the process. It's simple. You make a checklist, you follow it, you have a good idea of what it is you need to get done, and when you find a problem in your checklist, just amend it, right? I started the original recording with a video that had 5 or 4 columns because I realized that I was missing one, and when I did the second part of the video the week after, I realized I needed 1 more column, so I just added it to the process. A checklist is ever evolving. So as you find problems, note them in your checklist so that you can add them for the next time you cycle it in. So there you go. Easy, simple stuff. Go have some fun with your radio, and we'll catch you on the next one. 7-3.